welcome to the Sci-Fi Invasion. I'm your host, Joey Hollywood, and I'm trying to get through all 50 movies in this 50 movie box set from Mill Creek in 50 weeks. The movie I watched today was Galaxina from 1980. Now, I've seen the poster of this movie practically all my life. It's a very iconic poster with the girl standing and the big letters. And I wrongfully assumed that this was a movie that was played more straight. It was more of a serious movie. It's not. It's a comedy. And I didn't realize that till shortly after the credits. In fact, when it started, I just assumed that this was going to be a dime a dozen Star Wars ripoff. It opens up with the big crawl like Star Wars, and I know what you're thinking. Yes, I know Flash Gordon did that first. But the way it is done, it is very reminiscent of specifically Star Wars. It has the crawl, and then instead of having like the fanfare Star Wars logo and then the crawl, it has the crawl, and then it has the fanfare Galaxina logo. And then it opens up, it goes from that to a long shot of the spaceship, just like the first Star Wars movie. I think it's called A New Hope now, because they changed the title of it. So I was like, okay, I'm in for a Star Wars ripoff. And I certainly was not. This movie makes fun of a lot of science fiction, a lot of contemporary science fiction of the time. Star Wars, Star Trek. I think there's a little Battlestar Galactica in there. There's definitely a 2001: A Space Odyssey reference. As it was going on, I thought I was really going to like this movie. And I'm sad to say I didn't really care for it. Now, that's not saying that you might not. If I was younger, I would have really liked this one because the humor is very immature. There's a lot of fart jokes. There's a lot of they joke about Uranus and things like that, and that's stuff I would have found really funny a long time ago. And it's probably why this is such a cult film. I know that this movie has quite the cult following. Unfortunately, I just don't seem to be part of it. Yeah, and I think it's just kind of like, I think the reason why I didn't care much for it is it's a lot of stuff that's just happening. The movie really doesn't get started. The main focus, the MacGuffin, all that stuff is not introduced until 40 minutes into the movie. And a lot of what precedes the main kicking point of the plot is just bad jokes. It's a lot of just introducing characters. Like, I was like, oh my god, they're still introducing characters, and we're almost 40 minutes into the movie. And it's very weird too, because this movie feels very juvenile, but it's also very sexual. It's like a children's film with breasts and sexuality, which, unless you're a Netflix programming executive, that should be a red flag. But yeah, it's definitely an odd combination, and it didn't appeal to me for the most part. There's a character named Captain Butts, which goes along with the fart jokes and the Uranus jokes. And Galaxina is not like a main character until over an hour into the movie. She becomes an integral part of the story an hour into the movie, and it's like an hour and 40-minute movie. And because she doesn't talk, she's just a robot, and then she falls in love with a guy named Troy. I think his name was Troy. Thor. His name was Thor. And that's when it really kicks off. She programs herself to talk. There are funny moments in the movie, but those are only small parts, and this movie is not the sum of its parts, in my opinion. I wish I liked this one more, because the special effects are a lot of fun. Some of the jokes work. And sadly, one of the jokes that I thought was the funniest, they do way too much, and it's not funny by the end of the movie. Like, every time they say the blue star, which is the MacGuffin of this film, there's this "ah" music, and everyone around notices the music. They're like, what was that? And by the end of the movie, they do this gag so much, and it never evolves. It's just the same gag over and over again. It's not funny. And then the entire end credits is them just saying the blue star over, and then the music going on. And I don't know. This movie was not meant for me. It might be meant for you, though. And I don't want to poison the well by saying you won't like this movie, because I know people like this movie. I'm just an outlier. It wasn't my thing. But one of the positives I can say, this also has one of the best pictures. This is up there. Galaxina is up there with Creator Lake Monster as having the best picture quality on this set so far. I would actually, I think both the case of Creator Lake Monster and this movie, I think this was taken from a Blu-ray level quality source material and they smashed it down for DVD. I think that's what happened. That's the only reason why I think the picture quality could be so good. Either that or they just had a decent copy. I know those two movies are available on HD from Mill Creek, or at least they used to be. But I don't really have much to say beyond that. You might like the movie. I did not. But I'll see you next time. Remember, please be kind and rewind.